Aqui é a Ham Private Room Office and bedroom 5521 January 2022, day 5, Thursday, I think. Since you have with me here, I am. So we will move with our history as Heinz. We will suspend some posts that you have, kind of provoking you in an area integrated by failure, to cut the association by fail. If you have this as capacity, considering that you can switch an abusive procedure and turn into a dismissing procedure, and by silence we can have a lot of conclusion confirmed. So when we take a look at the constitution in this hot area, we will check that on Article 5 the caput says that we are all equals in some issues, even if you are a foreigner. And one issue that we must have in mind is that on Article 5, item 33, we have the right to obtain information about things that concern ourselves as interests, and if it's diffuse, for sure we do, and the foreigners have this right the same way. And the Article 34, we have this confirmed by a petition or something like this. You can have this. And we will try to understand that sometimes the process as communication in business and marketing, you have kind of someone transferring a signal. You have an instrument to transfer this signal and someone that will receive this signal. If you receive this signal about a lot of things as violations and abuses and crimes, risk analysis and audit, and you keep yourself in silence, by the Article 5, item 33 and 34, we will ask you, criminal offender in Brazil, placed at the segment public and under individualization by a regressive petition, to charge you 33 trillions. Did you consider yourself able to offer the petition or satisfy the guarantee and basic right to present information about violation against this research, violation against the consumer interest at this research, violation against the civil rights and basic guarantees of this researcher, considering the regular access to the digital space? On areas 55021, 21 Rio de Janeiro City, Rio de Janeiro National State, National Space Brazil, and 55021, 22 City Saquarema, Federative Unit, Rio de Janeiro, National State, Brazil. Are you able to present this information? No. Or are you able to do this? Are you able to present reasons to get in touch with all issues under systematic violation and have no action by the public department, segmented and under individualization by charge, respecting the Article 5, Item 46 of the Brazilian Constitution, considering that the international crime on law 12,850, Article 1, 2, and 3 present itself as transnational organized crime on public departments, associated, interconnected, or interfacing economic values as premised by the financial system, puts this issue at the white-collar crime and financial crimes, economic crimes, and economic crimes as risk and threats against the economy and the macro conjuncture of Brazil affect we all Brazilians, like the consume as diffuse interest, and amplifying the request as information based on Article 5, Item 33, I think, and 34. Can you offer this information, Brazilian state, based on Article 174 of the Brazilian Constitution, considering the mandatory need as habeas data, because you had the continuity of failures as segmented, highlighted, and under individualization by this financial paper, observing the Article 74 and 23 Item 1, which is the geopolitical distribution of integrated failure. And this forms a parallel geopolitical empowerment and use of regular power, proving yourself as criminal area inside corrupted space, which puts the capacity of the entire conjuncture and interest on it to present your reason and then satisfy your own constitution. Do you consider, Brazil, that you are in big problem? And we will have on mind another thing, another issue, which is the Heinz research considering the transnational organized crime, and we have class, a master class at the FBI website. Take a look, it's on blog, a piece, but it's fully filled by the reality of this issue as theory and things that we can all observe. The criminal interest, can we have this like this? For instance, if we consider that the criminal interest as a purpose and going at the institution failure rate, and with the continuity and sometimes the long life chairs, which implies knowledge about all circumstances and the best witness to have the information about the failure that goes by themselves as silence, or the chair beside the failure and by silence, which must offer maybe an information. If we had this conjuncture already proved as positive one internal value, corruption, and intention as criminal and purpose, do you consider the possibility of inviting or using a procedure to promote or protect the corruption by a crime? For instance, evoke anyone to be a witness, and during the course or the trial to be at the court to be hit or shot or poisoned, or this can be at your local police, or even during the electoral procedure. Do you consider this possible? Do you consider that the tax review by abuse to force an international company to be inside your criminal scam indeed is the intention as push the criminal association? Is this possible based on Article 5, Item 33 and 34 as individual, anyone, a person, and the article that the authority as top member must present this. An institution integrated, you all. Top chairs must present this information by your constitution. And Article 174, the Brazilian state, can you offer this information, saying if this is possible? And if this is possible, which is your protection plan of citizen by Article 144, which segments your institution failure by integrated failure? You fail. You won't. Then we will consider that. Do you consider that maybe you will have this kind of behavior as interest, corrupted, and under criminal motivation inside the security forum, impacting maybe the NATO and all nations at the NATO by the security forum, which is permanent, and you can, terminate or close this security forum, but you must put yourself on the lines and follow the law in your own constitution. For instance, do you consider able to have reasons to do not accept the switching procedure or legal by theory, doctrine, and theory and law, and put the procedural and procedure as abusive turns into a dismissing procedure, which will be your excuse? Because if you could get this, the conjunctural crime, for sure we will change, but as you can have here, we have one is the area, right? It's in general an institution. Then you will have a behavior that can be linear by your single individual or institution on article, for instance, 5, item 33 and 34, or integrated. And then you will have a motivation, which is the intent, criminal. And criminal intent is a crime in all areas, here in Brazil, on Europe. The Blind Eye Association in Brazil is the same Blind Eye Association on Europe. If you had concurrent failure during international events, for sure the motivation as Blind Eye Association in Brazil can prove the association as interest on Europe. And this was the object at Heinz case, offered by the IBM Germany, and that workflow that's here. So you will be, it's here, this workflow here. The Heinz IBM transfer information to the Federal Drugs and Administration America, intercourse under review by CIA, to get the logistic failure, which implies the security at the security forum. And then you will have the CIA acting at the supply chain, and the FBI at the supply chain, which is the transference of, supply by a logistic system. And then we have the NATO in the same way, the observation as CIA and NATO as tactical and technical sectors at this organization as organization of a system by method, OSM. It's the Mintzberg structure. And you can request this information about the motivation and the silence purpose as motivation from Brazil during the interval at least 2014 preparation before until 2021, projected with expectations, for instance, at gains by legal procedures until 2024, and the intention as motivation, which is criminal, can be corruption, can be white-collar crime, can be as weapon of mass destruction and supply, because it only is qualifying the criminal motivation and have the type of crime, by behavior, the profile of criminal, and the area, the type of failure or criminal orientation as sequential program to take or overtake and assume the conjunctures, and the main premise is the corruption that you observe, proven, and claim the conviction of you all at least 13 years on jail, 6 to up to 20, but 13 is something rational, and you can offer here a reason, maybe try a bargain. The audit has no make decision power. The research only do research, and I can apply my intellectual asset, which is the only thing I have, in a free way by our Constitution, Article 9, Article 5, Item 9 and 13. It's the freedom of thoughts, and in America preamble, I'm blessed by this, but you didn't respect. Have a nice week and best wishes.